no, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
So ladies, what's age got to do with it? What's age but a sweet old-fashioned notion?
Ifoma has turned into a composer.
And so what we're talking about today on TW Conversations in the lounge is what's age got to do with anything? Does it stop us from doing anything? Is it just a number? But that's a simplistic approach. What's the relationship between age and experience, between age and knowledge? Is there a relationship between age and money? And so I'd like to introduce all the ladies in the lounge today. This is bevy of beauties, and I'll start with Adesua, who is a TV host and producer. And then Ebu Feludu, who is a serial entrepreneur and a media consultant. And Dion, who is a writer, and who age concerns, as she's with us today. She's a lawyer, a budding producer, and she started something called Young Moms Coach.
New Mom Coach.
New Mom Coach. I am Ifoma Idigwe. I'm a finance and human resources analyst, but I have a bee in my bonnet about men at the moment. I have 2 sons. Maybe that's why I have that bee in my bonnet. But I think that there's a lot of emphasis on women and children and the underprivileged, and something needs to be done about the men. That's what we're going to be talking about, age generally.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
Okay. Are we obsessed with age in this country? I think we're a bit obsessed with age.
Hello.
Everything is about, I'm older than you, you're younger than me. What do you think?
Ah, look, don't even go there. See this, my India.
It's someone that says, I'm older than you. It's my small sister.
But you know what? The truth is, I grew up around, I was always the youngest in class. So for me, age is such an issue. I didn't realize until recently, this guy brought it to my notice. AO, I can't even talk around you because you treat me like a child. But I'm much older than you.
I'm older than you. You're always the youngest.
Somebody to lord it over now.
Wonderful. No, but the thing is, you see how I can reflect. I thought about it and said, you know, you're always the youngest. I had to like behave, flex a little bit. So now that I'm old, I mean, come on, I claim that age.
Now you're like, do you know my age?
Show more age, me.
Show more age.
So what has age got to do with it?
I don't know. Maybe the youngest person in the house should start by responding to that. I'm not sure.
Well, I wouldn't
Do we
say...
terrorize you here?
Sometimes. Yes. When you want to say something, you now say, what do you know? How many years are you married for? So, you know, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cultural expectations that comes with the whole age thing. People expect you to treat them a certain way, not because you know more, or not because you have more experience, but just because they're a certain age and you're, culture, we're Nigerians, we're Africans, we're very cultural about age.
But, so are you saying we can't just be? We can't be respectful of each other and each other's opinions because if we're not the same age, if you're older than me, like as she's older than me, I can't be respectful of her and she can't be vice versa. Are you saying that she can't because I'm younger?
Not a lot of adults are very open to receiving from you when you're a certain age.
No, but I don't
What
know,
she
is it-
means
are we
by
talking-
adult is older people.
Because she's an adult.
She's an adult.
You know, but I mean, like,
No,
no,
but
like,
I'm
this
21.
conversation.
You know, quite interestingly, this topic was brought up by Ifoma. And I think what you're trying to say here is not a question of respect or no respect. Sometimes I'm wondering, isn't it a function of because I'm older, that's one of it. Because I'm old, I can't do certain things.
Well, the way I look at it actually is this. Age and the things we align with age are social constructs, by which I mean that we determined it. So when did it start? In the past, it would have been that if you are a good hunter, you go and hunt irrespective of your age, and nobody's saying, "Oh,
yes,
you're
exactly.
you're too young to be a hunter." Yeah, what has that got to do with anything, you know? But I think the whole idea of wanting to be respected, wanting to be accorded a certain privilege, you know, then you build something around it. It comes from insecurity to me. You want something that gives you a position that you think is slightly above somebody else's own. And you know, it starts from secondary school. You can't call her name. Senior
Even
this.
for families, no, even for families. You
And
call
they
the
say
next-
sister in some
sister,
families.
sister.
Yeah.
You know, I
Sister and
remember
brother.
when I was younger, everybody ahead of me. I mean, we call brother, sister. So when it came to my turn, and I told my siblings who were
Yes.
younger to just call me Adeso, my father was scandalized. How can you say they should call you Adeso? I said, because I don't want to be Sister Adeso.
Nudge, nudge. I tell to them all the time, don't call me, don't put something in front of my name.
A prefix.
Miss Dion, Mrs. This. She
Mama
says, I
D.
can't.
Mama
D.
My name's Dion.
But the truth
Dion today, Dion forever.
I don't understand.
That
Is
is
the
the,
other half
name
that-
that you're given, yes, by
That's
which
true.
you're recognized.
Yes.
But you see, when they add something, for example, when Ebun came yesterday and she said, if Auntie Foma, I was just thinking, where's she getting Auntie Foma from? I'm just meeting her. You know what I mean? I'm just meeting Auntie
You know what my
Foma.
children say to me? Are you related?
Ahead, you know?
No, but what if she doesn't call
It's
you
not your
auntie and just
relative.
says Ifoma?
I don't have a problem with it because I wasn't brought up. That's not the thing that makes me respect people. I will accord you respect in any event.
Yes.
In any event, you know? And if I have to respect you just because of your age and there's nothing else, it's very shallow. So I think that if you want to be accorded that respect because of age, something has to be attached to it. And that's what we talk about, this experience issue now. So I know more, I have more experience. You're younger than me, but you have more experience in this business. So because of my age, should I lord it over you? Or should I say, Adeso, I'm not going to do it, you're younger than me, so
No,
what
but
do
the
you...
truth is, we're so quiet on this.
In this, no, I was just about to say that in the context of the environment
Yes,
we
we're
live
in.
in, if I go to the US or go to any other part of the world and I meet a Tim or a Tom and they're 100 years old, I will call them Tim, or Tom. But in this environment, 9.9 times out of 10, whoever is older than me by 5 or 10 years will be offended if I call them
No,
that.
we bring
So
us to the point. Is it
my
only 5 or
rule,
10 years?
or
Whatever the
you know,
age,
whatever. You
yes,
just kind of.
yes.
My rule is I put a prefix before I call the person's name. I just won't do because 9 times out of 10, the person is going to be offended. So. Auntie Ifoma, you're the exception to the rule. You're the exception to the
Ifoma,
rule.
let me say something.
Yes.
Right? Isn't it true, though, that age does, in some circumstances, give you some experience that is more than the other? Isn't it possible? No, doesn't it happen?
In many
Isn't it?
circumstances,
Yes.
it does. Because, for example, if you've worked in a particular place for 20 years, presumably you're older than somebody who's just coming in at a low level, so you know more than they do. So in which case, your age and your experience match. Do you know more? Not necessarily, because you see, you may have stopped learning when you got to a certain position, and then you're relying on the juniors in the office to do the work. So your knowledge may not be as much as theirs, and the world is changing. How much IT do I know? You know, I know enough to do what I need to do. But all these things that they talk about, that my sons talk about, I'm not savvy in that sense. So in which case, my knowledge, even though I'm older, I don't know as much as they do. But again, there was something we were talking about before we started. That's the idea of marriage, marrying people who are younger.
Love, yes.
What is love and age? What's, you know?
No, that one, I put my hand up. I'm not a cougar. I would never, ever even date a man that's more than a year younger than I.
So why?
Who
So
gets
that
from
whole
5
I can't. It's just, I have a mental block to it. I just think you're a small boy. Please. I had this young chap talking
Is
with
it a
me.
perception or
No,
reality?
I think I'm a little bit old in my head for myself. He was 15 years my junior, and he kept, you know, how can he say to me, you're so attractive. Just look at you. I mean, talking to you is just, it's very stimulating. I'm thinking, shut your mouth. I said, how old is your mother? And he said, she's 59. I said, she's 12 years my senior. He said, but my last girlfriend was 44. I don't care. I'm 47. You don't get to speak to me like that. He needs to just, but he was nice looking. He's well advanced in his career and everything. But I had a mental block. I can't.
So that's the word, mental block. I find it interesting because I mean,
I am 3.5 years older.
You don't
than
even know the number of years.
Yeah,
because it's not
because
important.
I actually never remember my husband's age. He's an old man. He's an old soul.
Okay,
and
so
he's
you know,
yeah. So
yeah.
it's not. It doesn't. So
it's 3 years older.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's not. I think it's in the person.
Yeah.
So if you are on a certain sort of intellectual level,
15 years.
Or maturity level,
Yes.
and the person is maybe not quite as mature as you are, then maybe you have issues.
Okay, you know people say this thing that women and men, so a 25-year-old man and a 25-year-old women are not the same mentally.
Because
that's
women
the
mature,
challenge.
like,
They say they mature.
They say they-
so that's
they
the reason
mature
why.
faster.
Okay, when it comes to love, though, I think fine, it's very clear. Look at Meghan Markle and the other one.
Exactly.
But you see, when you are meeting a guy for the first time, definitely.
Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. okay, Prince Harry. I mean, I didn't. I mean, the truth is, when I realized that she was 4 years older or something like that, I was like, she looks good. That's the whole point. But
Yeah, but did you watch the wedding?
yeah,
When she came in, yes, she was a lot more controlled than he was.
Yes.
He was a lot more emotional.
Yes.
That may also be a function of his age and experience. He started to tear up.
Yes.
And I found it really cute.
he would tear
you
up
know,
anyway,
but
whether
it was
she was
fun.
young.
Did your husband cry when you were coming down the aisle?
She's an actor. Trust me, she was happy.
Okay, this is beyond. I
She
mean,
was married to Prince.
what I take away though is the fact that to everybody you gather experience, but
Yes.
experience may not necessarily come with the number of years you have spent.
Yes.
Which brings me to the question. I want to take it a little bit to politics. In recent times, right, Nigeria signed a bill, not too young to run. Did we have to sign that bill to remind us that age is not an issue?
I just say, for me, the people who are doing this not too young to run, they were all in charge of this country in their 20s and 30s.
Yes, no.
So how are they giving us permission to do what they did at the beginning? This is what I find strange.
Oh, okay.
They were in their 20s and 30s. The people standing this, who are giving us permission, who are giving younger people permission, who gave them permission?
No, but people have been agitating for that. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, why the agitation? Why isn't it that if you're capable, you
Instead
can run?
of it being about age. Yes.
Okay, why didn't they go and choose the old people in the country at that time to ask them to, you come and be the president, you come and be the governor? But they were young, in their 20s and 30s, and they were there. How old were they? They weren't, So now they're thinking that a 50-something-year-old is a young man. It's amazing to me.
Okay. that's an interesting point.
I think it's different because I think in the time of independence, there was a new, fresh. We were looking at the first, the first group of university graduates and educated people and all of that, and there was a system, a British system, that needed to be passed on, and maybe the elders in the land just didn't have, the skills and what they needed to run the country. So they were the pioneers, basically. So
I don't have a problem with that.
Yes.
Why can't they give up?
Give up.
So maybe it's not too old to
Birthright,
run. I mean, so age is really not an issue. Whether
Is
you're
that
old,
really about age? That whole bill, is it about age?
yes, but there's no
Oh,
to
wow.
open up the space for younger people
younger
to
people.
aspire. But I didn't realize that you needed to have to do
That's
that.
my own, that
you have
you
to be a
need permission.
particular age. For example, you can't run for presidency if you're under 50, I think. Is it? No, before now.
Okay.
You have to be at least 50.
A certain age.
I think it's 50. Yeah, what's the age? You have to be 50 or something like that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but whatever the
it's
case.
different because I worked in civil service abroad, and you have to be in the system
There you
to
go.
actually run.
Yes.
So I met some people who had been in the civil service since they were 17.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a degree. All my bosses didn't have degrees.
There you go.
I had one that was about the same age as me who came in at the same time as me. So I was the only female on my team. I was in finance.
But they were older, they were younger.
One was the same age as me. The one that was younger had been working in the system since he was 17.
So she was the
He had
boss.
more experience. So I get there, the first meeting I had with them, I'd done all the figures, and I was thinking, I have a university degree, who are these people?
yes.
And I was the only female, of course, so they deferred to me naturally. And I'd done all the figures and talked. They let me finish. When they finished, they took it, literally tore it to shreds and gave it back to me to fix.
Yes.
Because they had been in the system for long enough to know that this works on paper.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in reality. So their experience made them older.
Yes.
I had to learn the ropes from
Absolutely.
them fresh.
Yes.
So it's age experience. Take, for example, Anne that is running new mom's coach. You've only been a mom for 3-4 years. 3 years, actually.
So So the reason why I can do that now is because I also took courses for it, and then I had 2 different experiences. So when someone's talking about natural birth and C-section, I went through a lot of experiences. So it's easy for me to now, and I didn't know too much, I learned the hard way. And the only reason why I'm doing this is that you don't really have to learn the hard way. If you're savvy, maybe that helps you for something.
But I also think she's dealing with people like herself. So they're her contemporaries.
Yes.
And so she either has equal experience with them or, you know, more in some cases.
Because she's gone through it. But you probably find a woman who's in her 40s having her first child.
Exactly.
We'll find
And
it
find it very embarrassing to speak to people like you.
her. Yes, because she's younger. Well, I'm older, I should know certain things, but you don't.
But you don't.
You
You've not had that
always.
experience.
you haven't
And I
had the
think that the
experience.
new generation is turning the whole idea of age on its head.
Absolutely.
I really do think so, because in many cases, the younger people are better than we are. They're more adaptable in many ways.
Doesn't it make them more cocky, though? And
No,
It
my
may
daughter-
not. It may not. And what is the word cocky used? Is it an age thing too? Is it that older people think, oh, if this young person
Knows a
is
bit more than
bold
me, they're
and,
disrespectful.
and is confident, that they're
Yes.
cocky? Because it could also be the way where, look at this one, this
Their
small one, I see how he's
insecurity,
talking.
yeah.
Yoruba will say, "Komwe."
You know, exactly.
seniors,
Exactly. You
My
know, so-
daughter's 22, and she has experiences that I'm jealous of. That I wish that I even could have now at
So she's your boss in
47.
certain
Yes, she's my
areas.
boss in
and
certain areas too,
and
yes.
exposure,
Yes.
because it's a
Very
different
different.
world.
So what are we saying now? We should stop. We should have a disregard for age.
No,
No.
that respect cuts across age.
It's more than about the
It's
numbers.
more than about numbers.
Well, I think I should take a break now and take a sip of something from there, you know. But I just wonder, though. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. Let's take a break and drink something
And then
before
we'll
we
come
continue
back.
this conversation. We'll be back. But you know, we're continuing the conversation in-house. And sorry, I'm sure I can't share this with anybody. And incidentally, one of us has gone to Google. Now, 35-year-olds can run for presidency. 25-year-olds can run for Senate, governorship and Senate. That's interesting.
25.
It means that Anne can only run for Senate or governorship. So age, you know,
Yes,
what
age
that-
is relevant. And this one, I think, would be from the experience factor, because it's about managing people and managing an institution, governance, and that comes with age, which is the reason why it's always best for a young graduate to work in a structured environment before they set out on their own. Because even if they're really bright and they can run the business well, it's not, putting structures in place is not something you just wake up and you know how to do. What they can do, on the other hand, is to recruit people who will do it.
Which is really sad. That's why most people prefer their kids to be out of the country, because they actually work while they go to school. A lot of their children there, they work, you know, they start from ground up and everything, and then learn the ropes, have a work culture, which we don't create or make available to them here.
What I hear you guys saying is that age is actually not numbers.
Not just numbers.
Age is both numbers and experience.
Yes.
So shouldn't we respect it?
Applied age is experience.
We just applied it. Hey.
She's
She's a reader, always reading anything that's got to do with the mind.
No, seriously. Because if you can be here for 50 years, but if you don't apply it. But I do have a theory that if any one person stays in one place for a long period of time, they will have advantage over anyone who comes in. And I know that because I experienced that recently, sitting in our store for 4 weeks back to back, observing.
A store that does what?
That's-
Your coconut store?
Yes, our coconut store. So I was there and I was observing. And honestly, like my dossier of notes from the 4 weeks, no salesperson could have given me all of that information.
It's a presumption of intelligence, huh? There's a presumption of intelligence.
Yes.
How do you mean?
Because somebody else can sit there and not get anything out of it.
You are right.
Yes.
You're right. The person can just be.
So your experience as well comes to play.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the same, sphere as that same person.
So intelligence
Yes.
and age don't
Yes.
necessarily go together. Is the point. That's a different angle. I mean, you can be however old you are.
I
But
find that people that have to remind you, especially, we're already contending with so much here in this kind of environment. We already have the gender thing. So you find somebody in the airport or something that's feels he's a man, and he's older. So you have to be able to, move.
Or give ground.
Yes. So if you have to tell me, do you know how old I am? I'm not blind. I can see gray hair. I almost want to tell you that, but then I have to respect myself and respect you and go, yes, I do know, but everybody here on the line did come in here before you did.
Maybe I
So
should
it's disrespectful to them.
take it to a little side sometimes. Sometimes I just want to play and hang out with younger kids. I mean, I want to dance
It's a
and
great thing.
sometimes I want to wear and they will say agbaya. You know what I mean? That agbaya syndrome that you're too old
To do
to
this.
do this.
You up like that.
One of my aunties actually had this experience. She had cut her hair and dyed it. I think she was going through a phase, so she cut it and dyed it.
Can you imagine
And then
that she going through a
I'm not going
phase?
through a phase. And my hair has been blue since I was 29.
You've always had a blue tint,
Since
it's true.
29, it's been blue.
You see?
But then that's
What age got to do with it?
Okay, say what you want to
She
say.
walked into a salon and then the woman, an older woman there that was probably doing DD, now said, "You will not leave this fashion for the young people. You don't think you're getting..." And she really got very upset. "What do you mean by that?" And then, of course, the woman was like, "There's some things that you just don't do at your age. Be mature, grow up."
No, but that takes us to culture that you were talking about. Our culture makes people old quick, especially women. No, I remember when my mother was 50, I felt she was 50. Honestly, no, because it was a whole different... And I remember one of my cousins saying of, an uncle's wife, she's in her 30s, she's still wearing jeans. And I'm looking at her and thinking, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? But this same cousin wears shorts in her 50s.
Today.
Today.
So you see, that actually, it's a good point at which for us to actually tell what our final thoughts or where we actually stand. I remember being 17 and telling myself, when I am 40, these jeans, I will wear it. Because 40 was ancient. Yes. My mother was my age.
It's the new trend.
Yeah, my mother was my age when I got married. I thought she was old. So when my kids tell me things like, they say, "You're old," and I'm like, I am not old. So it's in the mind, but still my mind stops me from doing certain things because I feel, well, even if not my mind, my knees stop me from doing certain things. Because of my age, you can't take that away. But I still think, I don't think if I want to go crazy, people should say I am Agbaya for that purpose. Sometimes I want to do it for my mind's eye. So going to Ifoma's point, what has age got to do with it? You can get experience with age if you are intelligent, and it can be the other side. And people respect your knowledge, regardless of your age, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know what you think.
Well, I defer to my elders.
Elders by age or elders by knowledge or elders by experience?
I'm a Yoruba girl.
Yes,
though.
you
I'm an
do
Ibadan
that
girl.
challenge.
I defer. It's not a challenge. It's one of my, values. I defer to my elders. However, I think the fact that my father died when I was 8 years old, so I'm kind of in my brain sort of frozen in that age. When I think of myself, I think I'm 8.
8-year-old, wow.
Honestly. Like,
Why?
if you
Because
ask
you
me
were
my age...
invincible at that age.
I don't know. I don't know. I just always feel 8 years old.
stops there.
So I kind of, So when I see
So you're
people
only
who
1 year
are
older
my
than
age...
Anabori.
Exactly. So
Your
that's
son.
why we're such close friends. So when I see people who are my age, I feel like, that can't be, So, age, I defer to my elders, and for me, I'm 8 years old in my mind, and that's how I act. And
Everybody should be respected, irrespective of how old your number is. So experience may give you an edge over the next person, but I respect my 14-year-old the same way I respect my 22-year-old. The same way I would respect someone who's 67 as a person first, with emotions, whatever. And then we can make the difference with the experience and whatever else it is that you come with,
I think the culture where we live necessitates that you give some people respect. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. If it would make the person feel good, whatever reason, just do it for the person. However, I also believe that respect should be mutual. You should never ever think that exactly, it's not exclusive to you. Young people should be respected. Children should be respected by their parents as well. It should be mutual.
I think that age is an excuse we use for a lot of things. Yes, I think respect should cut across whatever the age. And I don't think age should stop you from starting something new. Sometimes people say they're too old to start new things. And I'm thinking, but no, I'm young in my mind. And I never remember my age until somebody is rude to me. So if a younger person, that's when I remember, you and I are not mates, so you can't be doing that. You know what I mean? But otherwise, I just think that using age as a restriction for your life is such a dangerous thing. You won't live fully. I think that if you want to start something now, start it. When you're 70, start it. And so we're going to have to round up now. But the conversation will continue online. And not just that, we want to look at respect.
Oh, yeah.
In connection with age. It's such a major thing because when we keep talking about the age, we keep talking about respect. So
we go back and come back next week.
Exactly.
Are we agreeable?
Yes.
Okay. So for now,
see you next time.
Hello, everyone. We're back in the lounge again. This is the TW Lounge. We didn't actually go away the first time when we talked about age being a number or not.
Yeah.
So I stayed here with my sisters to continue the conversation. And we came up with a little bit extra because we wondered what respect had to do with age or age had to do with respect.
What respect got to
you know, because over here, people think that because they're older, you have to respect them. In Nigeria. And it leads to all sorts of things. Eben was saying, you know, oh, yeah, I have to introduce them again.
Please do.
There's Anne is a new mom coach in the corner there, Eben. It's a serial entrepreneur, she calls herself.
Yeah, we call her the coconut woman.
The coconut woman, yes. And Ifoma Idigbe is a finance
An HR
and HR analyst. And Adesua.
No, but I like that her voice to maintain.
With the
Oh,
passion.
yes, with a
She has
passion
a
for
passion
men,
for men,
actually. She wants to raise boys into men, proper men, so that we don't get to have all these problems since we have it. And Adesua is a seasoned presenter.
Hey, I like that word.
Yeah, season.
Seasoned presenter. I always like you to complete it. Go on, say the rest of it.
And well, and a producer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And all of the above. And your big sister.
She had to say that. And she does the respect thing as well. Yeah.
She does,
So today we're going to be talking about what age has to do with respect, if anything at all.
And she has told us, she has also she has refused to tell us who she is.
No, I am Dion, and I'm a writer. Oh, the lower end of the Ecleon, they say in production, but without us, it's not on the stage.
Yeah, go girl.
We'll be back. We'll get with it when we come back. Thank you.
Just before we went on the break, we were speaking about respect and what it has to do with age. And while we were on the break, you will not believe what this was doing. She was dancing, it's getting hot in here, and I'm like, those are the sorts of Agbaya moments that they talk about.
And we refuse to be called
I
Agbaya.
know. So we're back in the lounge and we're talking about this respect thing.
Did you respect her any less because she was behaving like a teenager?
It's getting hot.
But she could have been
in here.
offended by my reaction.
Aha. Were you offended by
Not
that?
any less.
No.
No, but you called me an Agbaya. I was just singing, it's getting hot in here. So take up all
It's
your
not proper
clothes.
behavior.
I am getting so hot.
It's not
I want to
consistent
take my
with the
clothes off.
You see, in this, where we come from, it's not proper behavior, especially in public. You are almost a, you know, a mother-in-law or maybe a grandmama soon. So you have to conduct
Age
yourself
again,
properly. Yes, age again, you know. But I don't think it's essentially synonymous with respect, though. Because you have some people that are biased, that are old in years, but are they don't
not
behave
wise
well.
in
yes, not
years.
wise in
I mean,
years.
what does Agbaya? No. What does Agbaya mean? The Yoruba.
I love it. They've turned me into the Yoruba.
Expert.
No, but Agbaya is...
It's
You see?
different from Agbalagba.
No. Agbalagba is, you know, your
older
elder,
person. Exactly.
respectable older
Absolutely.
person.
So
And
Agbaya
Agbaya is
the
a
opposite. Yes.
disrespectable.
Dissolute.
You know,
No, are they named Agbaya by virtue of the way they behave?
Yes.
Or by virtue of the knowledge that they have?
No.
by
They
by
don't
virtue
respect
of the fact that
themselves.
they have not conducted themselves
Appropriately.
yes. for their age.
As seen in the environment. Look at me,
expected.
dancing at 55 is getting hot in here.
Well, that would be sort of like a half joke. So there's a certain sort of maturity and, you know, knowledge and wisdom that one would expect of someone of a certain age. And when you fail to exhibit that, then you're called an Agbaya. So if, for instance, you know, you're given a young girl to take care of, and then you then abuse the girl. Yes, sexually or whatever. I mean, a girl is kept in your household. You're an older person, you know, it's your niece or whatever, and you abuse the girl. That's an Agbaya behavior, right?
And she
there.
can't express herself because she's deferring to
She's
you as an
deferring
adult.
to you, you know.
I think that's the part of the respect thing that I find frightening. I remember writing an article on when is it okay to disobey? Because obedience goes together with respect. And if a person is older than you and says, you're going to steal this from me, you should say no. But respect may stop you from saying no because you feel that, oh, this person is older than me and I should just be obedient.
That brings the story of someone was sharing earlier about the Japanese crash that happened because the first pilot,
officer,
the first officer couldn't correct
The captain.
the pilot, the captain, who was older, and then he was literally shaking. He couldn't tell him, we are going down, because he couldn't correct him.
Couldn't
And
you
everybody,
see it?
Dangerous.
there.
At the expense of your
But it
life.
is
That-
dangerous.
And the lives of you know,
so many other
other
people.
people.
No, but it's dangerous because we know how does sexual abuse happen? It's again this
It's a
respect
fear,
and the yes, you attach
Especially with
and I
young
must
children.
be obedient
Yes,
and I shouldn't tell anybody. I should just do what they've asked me to do.
Absolutely.
So this respect kind of stifle the younger generation.
No, so maybe first of all, what is respect really?
It's regard. The real meaning is regard for another person. It's not anything to do with age.
Yes.
It's a regard. Now, the age part is to hold another person in high esteem, which can come from your status.
Yes.
You could respect me because I have more money now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Which is what's
because
happening in
or
our
I'm more
society
learned
now.
than you are.
Yes.
You know, yes, you can do that. So it's not really a function of age.
But you know, culturally,
We've just made it so here.
we've made it so. We've
Yes.
tied everything to age because culturally, in again Asian and African societies, age means a lot.
Yes.
And so a lot of respect is tied to age, so that even if a younger person knows more and is more experienced, they will defer to the older person who doesn't know more.
Yeah.
That's what we have in
You
our
know, there's
country.
this proverb that they say, waiting old man, pardon my pidgin, eh? Waiting old man go sit down for chair C, right?
A young
A young
person.
man go climb a roko tree. That means with age does come experience.
It's presumptuous about age because it doesn't always happen. So it presumes that because you're older, that you know those things. But there's some certain people who are much older than me. If they give me advice, I can't take it. I
Yeah, I
can't take
guess
it.
it's 50-50.
But I won't tell them I'm not
Yes,
going to take
you
it
won't take
out
it.
of respect.
Yes, exactly.
But I just won't take it.
But, no, but honestly, what sort of advice? Because no matter what your expertise is, if you're a human being who's lived on this earth and you've engaged with people, you will have experience with human relations. And I think the older that you are, the more human relations
The
you've had.
chances are.
And, you know, it's more likely that you have more experience with human relations. So for me, that is one area that probably 9 times out of 10, if you're older, you will have more experience.
I will listen to you, but the context is my life, not yours. And that's one of the things I've learned, that you are experienced in your life. And some of your experience I can take. But I'm not obligated to take all of it because it may not be relevant to my life. And it may, in fact, be detrimental to me.
In fact, how about people that have complained that their spiritual fathers, like pastors and priests, have recommended people for them to marry, and then they ended up marrying people, and
That's a whole
Okay,
nother-
everybody just talking. So that means that's an interesting part.
Oh,
It is,
absolutely.
Especially when they're old, when they're older than you.
That means if your spiritual father is older than you, you respect him to a point where he controls your life.
Yes.
Absolutely. It
And
happens.
that's negative.
It happens.
Can I just say this?
Even when he's younger than you.
When he's younger than you.
Even when he's younger
that
than you.
position, you know, we've said it.
Yes,
You may be
status.
older, it's that status.
Yes.
You may be older or younger, it doesn't matter. Someone may have more money and be younger than you, and you defer to them. That happens all the time. Sa. Even
Isn't
though
a
you're...
monkey? I mean,
Yeah.
go away, fall.
You're full of proverbs.
I am hot today like that. No, what she say now? Is it a wall where you fall down? Then it makes small goat climb out. It means that if you put yourself down.
No, the worry one, that one. Now, as you pound yam, go your in-law house. Now
Then
they
they go take-
as you wear cloths, go your in-law house. Now they go ask you to pound yam.
the dangers of too much respect.
It's
This sort of abuse we're talking about.
Yeah.
Abuse, yeah. My friend is Asian, one of my closest friends, been friends for 20 years. And she got married and she was brought in from India to England. Her mother-in-law is stark illiterate. She had gone to school, she had gone to uni, everything. And they do this thing where you have to touch their feet in the morning. And she basically turned her into a maid. Because she could. She was her mother-in-law, she was older, and she was a small girl as far as she was concerned. Till, you know, she caused her own son to be abusive to his wife, and then their marriage packed up. And she still remembers it, you know, painfully
the
sometimes.
one-
When she talks about it, she tears up and the rest of it. And you have those kind of situations here, and we're not trained to talk back.
But she's lucky because she could walk away. There are people in those situations that can't walk away because they're so bound by that respect. She was, maybe because she was educated, so she could conceive of defying her parents who had put her in that arranged marriage. Yes.
My dear sisters, we're talking about respect now in terms of respect of age and positions. How about people just respecting, because respect is giving regard of value.
Yes.
So if, for example, this is the definition of what my space is. If you cross it, you're disrespectful of me.
Okay, that's boundaries.
So we respect boundaries.
That's when you respect another human being. Even the 5-year-old has his own boundaries
Exactly.
now.
That is
you
so
know.
Respect is not only for age, it's for other people.
For
For people.
Time. People's
Personal
time.
space.
What about time? Just this African time that will
personal
say,
space.
you say they invite you for an event, it's supposed to be 9. Say, well, they won't come there before 10. And they used to come. So if we respect people's time, because, for example, we're accused on this show of doing too much makeup. Informer and Fumi will tell us, you guys don't keep to time. So that's disrespectful of people who are concerned. So my question is, when we're thinking respect, we should first know what are we respecting. For example, I can choose. I take it to religion, and I'd like to take it there. If, for example, I am Catholic by faith, and then you are also Christian and Pentecostal, Jehovah's Witness, you're coming around my house and knocking on my door and telling me I'm going to hell because I'm there, or I'm going around telling people who are Pentecostals are going to hell. Please, respect my space and respect my opinion.
How about people that like Catholics that do not believe in contraceptives? And then you say to a Pentecostal person that I'm sorry, I think what you're doing is abortion. That you're doing to hell. And
so if you respect your opinion, you can have a difference of opinion.
Yes.
But you don't have to do my own
I teach
way.
my children to do that. I always say to them, don't apologize for your own position. Explain it and respect the other person's right not to agree with you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. My younger daughter, if you come up to her, she doesn't like people in her. You have to have like almost a 2-foot radius around her. She just goes, Mommy, personal space. With a blank look, Mommy, please, personal space. It just makes her nervous. Yes. So we literally have to move back.
Step back.
Please,
As a
personal
Nigerian
space.
parent, does that bother
Yes,
you?
not at all.
No, she understands.
But I've raised her to
She's
be
raised
able
her
to.
that way.
And then if you say something that she didn't do it, she'll say, "Can I speak? I didn't do it." Okay, but somebody, Mommy, we need to find out who did it. I didn't do it, and I don't want you to assume that you can just say that because you're the youngest and you're the only one present here. I'm not going to take the rap for it. We have to find out who did it. She's allowed to do that.
But that's something we don't do in this culture.
Yes.
We think that the older person knows everything and is everything and can say anything and everything,
And
and
just
that you
be
just have to
going.
keep quiet.
A lot of times, if you express yourself or defend yourself or explain yourself, you are taken as disrespectful.
It's an argument.
No
You're
matter
arguing.
how kind you were with your words, no matter how subtle you were with your words, there's never a
You
good
can't
end
get
to
it right.
Yeah.
So there's no end to it.
There is. Well, you can, like you said, put your boundaries in place. I had a clash with my mom when I moved back home after being divorced. 2 women in the same house. Oh no, we almost killed each other. So one day she turns to me and goes,
Too much PMS.
"This is my own house. If you want to lay down the law, you need to go to your own house." That hurt
I
me
salute
deeply.
her.
But I moved out, and then I shut down on her. Because I felt she was cruel to me, so she began to beg me. So eventually I said, "What is even your problem? It's her house now. You go to your own house and go and stay there."
Absolutely.
Because so you need to respect how my kitchen, because I'm different from her and how her kitchen runs. How I was like, I'm staying here tonight to have
This is my
find your own space.
I tell my kids
You know,
all the
so
time.
I forgot about everything.
When we
after
get in
that.
an argument over, okay, why should I do things like this? Why shouldn't I do things like this? You know what? I'm the one paying the fees.
Absolutely.
For as long as I'm paying the fees, man. If you don't like it,
It's the papa who chooses the tune.
Yes.
Calls the tune.
Another thing I find is when people perceive, if someone doesn't know you, in Lagos, for instance, people work with names. So you drop names and then they defer sort of respect to you because of who you are, or who they believe that you are. Then if they meet you and they do not know the name, it doesn't resonate, the treatment is different. So you never really know who people are. You never really know. Not everybody's out there. It doesn't mean that they're not making waves in their own little space. I feel like we should respect.
We put too much respect on status.
I'll give an instance. I'll give an instance. I was walking into a building with somebody, and then I saw her. She had like really nice hair. I'm like, "Oh, your hair is really pretty." She was like, "Oh, thank you." And then we walk into the place, and she realizes that we're going to the same space and interacting with the same people. She's like, "Oh, you were speaking on my hair earlier."
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, "Nah, you're not a nice person."
I would have rolled my eyes.
But shall I tell you, I think I have, something I'm really particular about, civility.
Yeah.
If we're civil,
Yes.
then you will automatically respect anybody and everybody.
Very true.
Until the person shows that they're not worthy of that respect. And they can only show that if they cross your boundaries. That's the only circumstance under which you should disrespect. If they're sort of continuously disrespecting you, then at some point you have to say, stop.
Doesn't that also the onus should be on us to set boundaries in our relationship.
Let people know what our boundaries are, too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Because I was just going to say that, you know, that you are older or you have status or, you know, you have money doesn't give you absolute power. Because it's in assuming that you have absolute power that you feel you can sort of disrespect someone else or cross boundaries. And so you, the owner of the money or the power, the status, you need to know that. And then everyone else needs to know that because someone has status doesn't mean I don't have a right to my boundaries or a right to be respected.
And things can
so
change anytime,
I think
man.
it's a good place for us to take a break. We'll be right back. These breaks are quite interesting. We have candid, interesting conversations at the breaks. Anyway, during the break, we were talking about nannies and domestic staff. How do they handle this whole respect thing? So if your Oga is molesting you, what do you do about it?
Well, some of them don't say because they may be afraid of what Madam's reaction will
maybe
be.
they enjoy
Or guys. Some say that they may actually want the control. So it's 50-50.
Yeah, it brings you a little closer to the Madame status.
But you know, I don't always take that part first because I think she's somebody's daughter. So
That's
if
good
you
to
find
look
out
at.
about that, first and foremost, she was given to me to care for. So we generally tell her help. I don't take in help.
No.
I treat you like the way I would treat my own children. So if you had that kind of challenge, if my child had that kind of challenge, I'd like to know.
And that is you.
Yes,
How many people tell their house elves those kind of things?
Many people do. You'd be surprised because it's somebody's child.
What does that mean? Like you tell the
Your
person that you're
circle.
coming into my home.
Yeah, like,
please,
I
don't, if Oga does anything
No,
to
that
what
you're
do you say?
not help. I don't want you to regard yourself. You're part of this family, this
think many
household.
people do that.
So if you have a problem, I need to know about it.
That's not many people do
I'm not aware
I don't
that
think
many
many
people
people
say
do
that.
that.
Mostly I have friends with
Because
that
you do
the
that.
same.
Yeah.
But it's kind to do that because the person is
so that you're
able to open
comfortable.
up to you.
You see, there are
you
always
know?
two sides to a story. It's the kind and decent thing, but it's also abused. And so people err
Can be
on the side of
abused.
caution and just say,
Absolutely.
you know what, you're a housekeeper or you're a nanny.
But I
That's what
respect
your
your
status
position.
is, and this is what I expect you to do. And you know, these are the benefits and these are the rules. You know, so that you don't become more of a
Presumptuous.
child than the child,
Right. To
because
more
they're
things.
also nasty to children. You know, so but that's the subject for another day.
Maybe we've been lucky. Because my mom, I grew up watching my mom. After the help has gone, she trains them. My mom was a
I mean, they
dressmaker.
become that's the kind of home I
She used to
grew up
go to
It's
them when they have a
important.
baby. They
It's
won't
better.
call their own mother. They would call my mom. She used to go and do omugo because she raised them.
I think what Ifeoma
Yes,
is saying
so,
is it's not that that is wrong, but it's important to know that the fact that I have boundaries,
My
that I
staff-
respect, that people can abuse it.
Yes,
Most
in
respect.
any direction. My staff always stayed 20-something years. My housekeeper,
Absolutely,
20-something. My
exactly.
steward, 20-something years. So, yeah, because you treat them like human beings.
Absolutely.
But they know that they're working.
Oh, yes.
In my house. And even if they're going to be educated and you pay school fees for them or their children,
Those are
they
perks.
know
They know
that
it's
this
from
is it.
privilege,
And
yes.
you're doing it because you can, and you value them enough, respect them enough
Not
to
because
want
it's their
them
right.
to,
Respect
to
again.
yes,
Yes.
to advance. Because my thing with respect is I don't have to like you, but I must respect you. And that's why, again, this civility thing, there can be no respect without the understanding of civility
Please
and the
define
importance
it.
of good behavior. Civility is about good manners. Respect is a part of good manners. It's a part of treating people right, you know? I don't have to like you, but I can't come and say, look at how you're looking now. Even if I'm
But
thinking
that's
it,
what don't you like my
I really do like it. You see, so, and even if I don't like it, I might say, I just say, that's really nice because it makes you feel good. And because civility is at the end of the day, it's about hypocrisy. At the end, no. There's a level
Acting.
of, no.
Hypocrisy actually acting.
That's what it is. Because if I don't like you, and I have to deal with you, I'm not going to say I don't like you. You won't know I don't like you. And I'm not talking about me personally, I'm saying human beings, you know? So it is important because it's not relevant to the situation. It's not. So as a producer, for example, on the program, do I have to like what you're saying? I just need to follow the way you're doing, you know?
Well, Nigerians don't like that because when I ran a business, I just came back from abroad and I worked with my then husband. I didn't know anyone. I met Abdulsalam at a function. I didn't know who he was. So he was cracking a joke, which I thought was really a married woman. He was being cheeky. And I thought, no, that's not the right thing to say, sir. You need
you
to
told
say,
him?
yes. So everyone in the room froze.
Bad mouth.
And then
Bad
he
mouth.
started to laugh. It was amazing. He said, I like her. People actually expect, when you put those boundaries in place, they respect you better. Very interesting lady. I like her. Yes, do whatever you said you wanted to do. But I didn't know. It's later they told me that was he used to be president of Nigeria. I was abroad when he was president of Nigeria. I didn't know who he was. I don't know. Just this little man that was.
Yeah, one of
being a
those
bit cheeky.
Nigerians when you are abroad, you don't know what's happening at home.
But it means, therefore, that as long as you respect people,
Yes.
they will respect you,
You back.
And that, in fact, some people don't want you to give them so much respect that
think
you're
we
like,
do that
they can
with
abuse
respect
you. Because if you give
yes.
people too much respect, they will abuse
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because you have put yourself in their power.
Absolutely. Which
I
is
think
why
so if you stand up
that's-
for yourself,
Yes.
a lot of times
With
people say-
respect.
with
You stand up
respect,
for yourself
yes.
with
You know,
respect.
don't be rude. I'm not naturally a rude person. I don't do stupid, foolish, all those kind of things. But I will tell you the truth.
But in
And we can
And
say
then just cut something.
workplace,
Yes.
Or your perception of the truth.
Oh, my
attenuates.
perception of the truth in the best way without being insulting. Yes.
In the workplace, for instance, a lot of people find it very difficult to say the truth to their bosses, for instance, and deal.
And not promote you.
That's where emotional intelligence comes
Are
in.
you not hearing what Ifoma is saying? Civility.
Hypocrisy.
Civility. It's hypocrisy.
It is, but
You don't,
it's
and it's not
important.
fakeness.
But if you see
Emotional
that it's
intelligence.
detrimental to the business,
Sorry?
if you see that the
That's
comment
different.
Find somebody
you see,
else
I'm
to
not saying
tell.
don't tell the person what you need to. I'm saying that the way you tell a person something is not the way you feel it. So if I dislike you, I don't need to come and say, Anne, I dislike you. And I don't need to show you that I dislike you because it's not required in our relationship.
Yeah, it's
I
unnecessary.
don't have to agree with you. But if I don't agree on a point, I'll say, Anne, I don't really think, I wouldn't look at it that way. I haven't disrespected you, but I'm thinking, look at her, what is she even saying? But I'm not saying it that way. Even with your children, your mouth is smelling. It's disrespectful. You can tell them to go and brush your teeth again.
No, I'm learning a lot of lessons even as I grow older. I take, for example, I see you walk into the room. I mean, I do it with my little sister here. I say, look how fat your stomach is. I thought I was,
How little am I?
It's a joke. No, it's a joke, and I think I'm saying it, but you're really hurting someone, you know?
She might feel disrespected,
That's
but
what I'm
that is not
saying.
your intent.
No.
Exactly, which
Yes.
is where, you see, if you looked at it from the point of view of civility, you wouldn't say that to her.
Okay, so
needs his final
respect.
thought.
Yes.
So for me, it's two-pronged. You, the owner of power, position, advantage, it's your power, your advantage is not absolute. Be mindful of boundaries. And you, the owner of your space, create those boundaries so that you're not abused. And respect is mutual.
You never know who would turn out as who tomorrow. I think
like
that
this
is
one. Stay
civil.
thoughts.
No, but it's true because you never really know. So you don't want to be the same person that will say, sorry, I treated you the other way. Yeah. Be civil to everybody, be kind to everybody because this world is really, it
I like
goes
that
round.
kindness. Yes.
I like that. You don't know where you're going to be tomorrow.
Are they so?
Yeah, I mean, I like that because I was hearing the story of someone that started with Steve Jobs and co. and claimed, well, take his money and go. Now Apple is worth this kind of money and he's regretting that, if I had known. Yes. I don't like those if I had knowns. I think I'll go the way of know your boundaries, share your boundaries, and be civil. I'm going to learn to be more civil. I've learned to new myself today. Be civil.
I think civility is very important to me because I think it's what makes the world go round. The fact that we accept each other and tolerate each other whilst not agreeing. You know, and that's really what it is. Whilst not agreeing, you respect my space and I respect yours. That's all I want from anybody.
Well, the conversation doesn't end here. It continues online at TW Conversations on Instagram. But you see, civility is also learned behavior. And it's not something that we readily teach in Nigeria. No. So my last words to parents, teach your children how to be civil. So maybe we'll have a better nation.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thought and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you. So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam, you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Oftentimes when we see celebrities either on social media, television, or in person, we assume they have it all together, but we forget that they're also human. Well, here are some of the low points of some of your favorite celebrities.
Story. Once upon a time, there was a very young, agile, vivacious, spunky, unconventional Pikin. You have all come to know and love as Brother Derele, Shewere, Dewere, and all of the above. But you see, getting to this very point in time has been a story of hurdles. I have crossed so many hurdles. I've broken down ceilings. I've crashed barriers. I've scaled mountains, figuratively speaking. Because you know what, for every single door that was shut on my face, you know what, I found another door. For every time I was put in a box, I jumped right out of that box. I am still in an industry where I have to constantly prove myself. Not the fact that I have to prove myself to myself, but I have to prove myself every time how resilient I can be and how much of an identity and strong force that I must be. So you know what, this is my celebrity story. My story is like $1 million question rolled into one.
My story for today, which hopefully will inspire you, is that when I was 17, my mom died. And at the time, my mom was the only one that had been encouraging me as far as acting was concerned. My dad was not for it at all. And on her deathbed, she told my father, let this girl do what she wants to do. Unfortunately, he was still against it. And I went to theatre school, much to his disdain. But the thing is, even though I went through a lot of stuff because he refused to sponsor me because I was doing what he didn't want me to do, I endeavored, I worked, I had many jobs. I used to do all kinds of stuff. I used to braid hair. There's a lot of stuff I do. people don't know about, just to make ends meet. Some days it would be between transport and food and all kinds of things. But I endeavored, I worked hard, I stuck to what I wanted to do, and finally I am here. And as far as I'm concerned, I've only just begun. But I am here, and I'm going to keep on pushing on until that Oscar sits on top of my table. So, you know, no matter what it is that you want to do, so far it's a good thing. Don't let anyone discourage you. There will always be a way around it if you just put your head down and put in the work.
What's up, everybody? They call me Road Boy. Now, let me share a brief and a small story for you guys, okay? I used to be a young boy who never had this experience of having parents coming to pick you in school or taking you to school. You know, those kind of things that if you woke up in the morning as early as 6, you dress up everything by 6:30, it will take you like 1 hour, 20 minutes to get to my school. I never had that experience of waiting for a driver to come and pick me in school. You know, that kind of lifestyle whereby even your parents will prepare breakfast for you or lunch for you to take in school. It was all about survivors, okay? But today, I want to tell you guys something. Maybe my parents took it that way for me because they never had, but I promised myself when I was young, if I ever made money, my children are not going to go through that. I'll provide everything for my kids, transportation, security, whatever, okay? So let me tell you, so whatever you're going through in life today, make sure you keep your head up because whatever you're experiencing, it will give you that power, that strength, not to allow your kids to go through that. Rude Boy says so. Bless her.
Before Jennifer's Diary, I would go for, to be honest, I did not think I was going to be an actor. I just thought I was going to sing. How I got into acting, one particular day, I went to church for rehearsals, choir rehearsal, and then I got there early. My friend called that she had written my name in some audition. I was like, audition, ads film, me? I know they do. So she was like, come through, they're waiting. So because rehearsals had not started and the place wasn't so far from where I was, so I was like, okay, I'll just go and see what's up. Thereafter, I started going for auditions. Some people will say really nasty stuff to you. Instead of them to just say, no, go. They will yab you. They will make you not believe in yourself. You just feel like giving up. So I just chilled. And then one particular time, I got a BC, 1,000 Days of Blackberry. My friend sent me an audition BC. It was for Jennifer's Diary. So I said, guy, I know they go. All these things, they don't already get people where they want to put there. So I'm not going to go. So I was like, go. My mom told me to go. My dad told me to go, the amazing man, and my friend. So I didn't even know what to wear. So I was discouraged, like, nah, I'm not going to go. But my friend, thankfully, she works for Genevieve at the time. By the way, I love. I cannot explain the love I have for Genevieve. The place was crowded and I don't like crowd. So I went to hide in the restroom as always. That's what I always do. So I was there till like 8 p.m. For real. I called my mom. Mom, I'm leaving. She said, no, too bad it's audition. So I stayed there. 9 p.m. I auditioned. In my head, I was like, there's no way they wouldn't have found people they need. A couple of weeks after, they called me for the second audition. We did the third audition. We did the final reading. We're quite a number of people reading for Toyosi. At the end of the day, as God would have it, I got the role for Jennifer's Diary to play Toyosi. I did not have any idea that the character was going to have so much continuity. I don't even know. I didn't know that I was going to be in several seasons. So, yeah, and that's how I found myself in Jennifer's Diary series.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Good evening, I'm Tolu Ojomia. This is the news update. All appears set for the People's Democratic Party's convention at the velodrome of the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, where the party is expected to elect its presidential candidate. More than 10 aspirants are vying for the presidential ticket of the PDP in today's national convention. They include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, and Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. The chairman of the PDP's National Convention Organizing Committee, Senator David Mark, said virtually all its delegates have arrived at Abuja and the party was ready for the exercise. In the meantime, Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Orjiz Okado, today emerged winner of the APC by 777 votes, polling a total of 777 votes out of the 777. He was certified and declared winner in Ohafia, headquarters of the zone, by Chairman APC Primary Election Committee, Honorable Paul Uche. The other aspirants, Fabian Nwankwo and Emeaba, scored 0 votes. Meanwhile, the patience of delegates of the APC in Ikpoba local government area of Nigeria was put to a stretch for several hours as they had to wait till nightfall to choose their representative in their party primary. Speaking with the Plus TV News crew, the eventual winners of the primary expressed their joy for clinching the party's tickets ahead of the 2023 general elections.
I actually want to appreciate the delegates for the manner they conducted themselves during the exercise. The exercise started late, but I want to appreciate them again to have stayed this late to ensure that they cast their votes for the respective aspirants.
I want to appreciate the people of Ikobaha local government, and I want to tell them that I will not disappoint them, having given me their mandates to represent them in the Edo State House of Assembly in the forthcoming general election.
At the end of the voting, the counting was done. This is the result. Maxi Umeli had 7 votes. Alida had 21 votes. Ijeon Anthony had 16 votes. While Crosby Eric will have 53 votes. But the power confirmed me as a returning officer of the federal constituency. I hereby declare Crosby Eric as the winner of the
I want to congratulate myself, thank my teaming supporters, my family, and of course, God Almighty.
Adamawa Judicial Service Commission has dismissed 11 errant personnel, while 20 other workers were demoted, including a magistrate. The commission made this known in Yola through a statement signed by Hindatu Lamode, the commission's secretary. She said the magistrate was demoted to the position of registrar for involvement in corrupt practices. Mrs. Lamode said that 20 other judicial workers were demoted for using fake certificates to obtain promotion in the commission. Lecturers in public polytechnics across the country will resume on May 30 following a directive from the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics. The union had on May 16, 2022 commenced a 2-week warning strike over the failure of the government to meet some lingering demands. Some of the demands which the union listed had included the payment of 15 billion naira revitalization fund for polytechnics, payment of minimum wage arrears, and review of conditions of service. Children in Benue State have joined their counterparts in other states to celebrate this year's Children's Day in Makadi and other local government areas in the state. The state governor, Samuel Otum, who was represented at the event by the Commissioner for Information, Mike Inaligo, lamented that most children who are not enrolled in school have become ready tools in the hands of terrorists and killer herdsmen to foster criminal and inhuman activities. The governor, however, stressed the need to protect children from evil men, urging parents not to allow their children to be exposed to the vagaries of terrorists, killer herdsmen, cultists, and traffickers.
As you are being called children today you are the leader of tomorrow. Don't allow anybody to use you. Don't allow anybody to introduce you to anything that is inimical to your family and the state at general. Whatever you are doing, try to obey the law and order of the land, and then respect your parents. Your parents are your semi-god in this life. My children, the future of Benue State depends on you. And you are the ambassador of this great state.
The parents should try as much as possible not to demonstrate violence in presence of these children, and not even at the back of it at all. They should not do that, so that the children will learn better morals, and it will help us in the society as they continue to grow. So let us continue. And now we are encouraging parents to at least engage their children on what? Skills, acquisition of skills. Like carpentry, like welding, all these skills, learning on how to make shoes and the rest of it. That can help the children. Instead of winding away aimlessly, going about aimlessly.
Celebrating the child is a great thing to me. Shows me that one day people can be a leader of a state or a country.
The celebration featured march past and cultural dance, while prizes were presented to schools that emerged winners. In the meantime, Executive Director, Center for Adolescent Health and Social Development, Fatima Odushote, has called on the federal government to put measures in place to make menstrual hygiene materials readily accessible. Odushote, who said this in Abuja to commemorate the 2022 Menstrual Hygiene Day with the theme Making Menstruation a Normal Fact of Life by 2030, said it is imperative for the government to provide sustainable access to water and sanitation for proper menstrual management for girls and women. May 28th of every year is a day set aside to highlight the importance of menstruation and proper menstrual hygiene management for every girl and woman, irrespective of their location, and also to highlight the need to address the common myths surrounding menstruation and break the silence and shame on menstruation. In commemoration of Children's Day celebration, still, the recognition of role played by children in each family and the need to celebrate and make them feel loved and important. Nigerians recounted some of their childhood memories and the need to help out of school children. That's on Street Views. Take a listen.
My childhood was full of fun. I'm the last born of my mom, and I'm always with her everywhere. So, I would like my children to go abroad for holidays. So I didn't have that privilege.
And the fun was always there. We'll go to the back of the school where we'll have no disturbance, me and my friends. We'll just be there and then we'll be throwing this rubber band. I guess you should be able to remember what that means. So it's always very fun.
We'll celebrate them, they'll give them gifts. I prefer to go to school.
Some are walking on the streets doing nothing. So we need assistance from the government. You can see my daughter, she's here today to help me, just to keep her company up today, not to roam about.
I didn't really grow up with my parents. I stayed with my stepmom. So though she was not too bad, but my own children, of course, by God's enablement, they will stay with me, they will grow up with me, and I will train them. You know, there's a difference when you train your own personal child that you give birth to. It's always different.
I really enjoy my kids simply because my father trained us very well. Whenever the children is approaching, they will buy us white socks, white tennis. That's at that material time. So we go to stadium or we go to school, we go to match, we do this, we do that. So it was really fun and very, very awesome. All I want for my children is best for them, academically sound. And I want to treat them in the way of the Lord. And I want them to become great, especially in this universe we are.
The children's play, I miss that a whole lot. If I try to picture it, going back to it, I'm like, some of my siblings and younger ones that look up to me like, uncle, why are you playing like this? And didn't you know you are old? I'm like, because I miss that.
I don't feel like celebrating Children's Day. Instead of me celebrating, I'm helping my mom to sell food stuff. And I think government should help them to provide parents shelters and take them to the motherless baby home, take them to schools, feed them and do everything they need.
Now to other parts of Africa, African leaders are gathering for a summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, and we'll quickly tell you some of the factors on the agenda. Combating violent extremism, stopping the recent round of military coups in Africa, and getting help to the hungry. While the leaders meet, help can't come soon enough for the people of the town of Djibo in Burkina Faso's far north, who are faced with all the challenges: extremism, drought, coups. In the Sahel region, close to the border with Mali, Djibo has effectively been under siege by jihadist extremists since February, as extremists have restricted movement in and out of the city and cut water supplies. Outside Africa now, an Indonesian ship with 43 people on board capsized off Indonesia's Sulawesi island after it ran out of fuel. The Search and Rescue Agency said as search continues for 26 people who remained missing. The motorboat that had left Petri Port in Makassar, capital of South Sulawesi province, on Thursday midnight was reported missing the next day when it failed to arrive at its destination. Authorities are of the opinion that the accident was caused by fuel shortage and bad weather, as Indonesia's weather agency had warned of waves of up to 2.5 meters in Makassar Strait areas, and that could cause safety risks. Business news: the total amount disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program of the CBN rose to 1.01 trillion naira as of the end of April. Figures obtained from the CBN's reports from members of its Monetary Policy Committee said between January and February 2022, the bank disbursed 29.67 billion naira under the Anchor Borrowers Program for the procurement of inputs and cultivation of maize, rice, and wheat, three crops that hitherto were significant concerns of foreign exchange demand. These disbursements bring the total under the program to over 4.52 million smallholder farmers cultivating 21 commodities across the country, and that comes to a total of 975.61 billion naira. That's the news update. Thanks for watching. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I'm Tolu Jeremy. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Event is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, no.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
How long were you going to live in denial? Suppressing what was right in front of you all these years. You have to understand. I was all he ever had. Besides, he had a troubled childhood, and he stole mine. When little girls were being little girls, I was a slave in my own home. Broken and afraid, right in the place where I was supposed to feel safe. I kept you safe. How? Well, I took care of you when your deadbeat father was running the streets with those whores. I was left with 4 kids to take care of. I fed you. I gave you shelter. I clothed you and I paid your fees. My back was on the ground like a horse day and night. Your brother raped me. Operation. He did, okay? He did, and you know it. I said, you know this. I told you he did. Cannot do that. For 5 miserable years, right under your nose. You were supposed to protect me, and I came to you. I did, and you called me a little liar. Said I should be ashamed of myself, and I have carried that shame all my life. I was the child. You were my mother, and you did nothing. He is not perfect. No one is. You're not. I am not. But he loved you all dearly. He was a good man. He was the only help that I had. He took you to school. He cooked. He cleaned. He did everything. Oh, what the crap, Mom? You cut it off. You were a child. And you know, those days, you were something else. You had this wild imagination, and I figured it was all coming from. I can't believe you. I can't believe you're sitting here trying to rationalize and make excuses for that predator and for failing as a mother. You ungrateful child. After all I went through for you, you then sit there and chastise me? Do you know what I went through? Do you? The mental torture, the physical and emotional abuse that I had to endure. Oh, you think you're the only one that went through dark times? Well, I did. I endured and I stayed back for my children, for you. No one asked you to. That is what one is supposed to do. My mother, my grandmother, all the women before me, they all did it. They never let out the secret. They were there. They forgave. They forgot. They bore the pain for their children and family. We were never a family, Mom. We weren't a family. We were broken. You should have taken us. You should have run as fast and as far as your legs could carry you. We would have been better off on the streets than in that house. But you were weak. And we had to pay the price. Everything is not always black and white. You women of this generation with your modern day ideologies and feminism. All you want to do is talk about everything. Let me tell you, we paid the price for you. We bore the pain so you will have a shot at life. We gave you that voice that you're using to speak so loudly and condescending with. So you don't sit there and judge me. You failed. Okay? And it's fine. It's okay to admit it. You failed. I raised my little girls with a nagging pain and a constant fear of neglect. So paranoid that I might make a mistake and repeat the same cycle. I see it now. I come from a line of broken and subdued women. But it ends. The cycle ends with me. No more. I forgive you. And I hope that you find healing for your soul as I do mine.
I bet your eyes and ears are thrilled with music videos coming from Nigerian artists. You obviously notice the singer, the video vixens, and other talents. But what about the music director? Close your eyes, think about your favorite music video, and see if you can tell who directed it. Great if you can, sad if you can't. We're here to celebrate the brains behind the videos out there, and here are 5 top Nigerian music video directors. Number 1, Clarence Peters. He's a director, filmmaker, and cinematographer. The founder and chief executive officer of Capital Dream Pictures was involved in a mobile-sponsored music video for a documentary on AIDS in 1998. He directed 40 episodes of the TV series Everyday People. Peters has also shot a good number of documentaries, TV commercials, short films, and TV features. He has directed music videos for recording artists such as Dare, Durella, Wizkid, Seyi Shay, Burna Boy, Waje, Tubaba, Fino, Runtown, and Yemi Alade. Peters has won numerous awards for his works. Number 2, TG Omori. Also known as Boy Director, TG Omori is a Nigerian music video director and cinematographer. He started directing at 15 while overseeing stage plays at school and church. He began making videos a year later but took it up professionally at 18 after graduating from Pencil Film Institute. This made him the youngest professional filmmaker in Nigeria. He has worked with Olamide, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Techno, Kiss Daniel, Fireboy DML, Fowls, Timaya, Naira Marley, and many others.
That's why she don't want to go, she wanna stick around. But she still say that she love me cause I'm sexy. And I tell her that she lying, that she flexing. She be screaming, I be screaming, we be reckless. But I know that she be liking makeup sexy.
Number 3, Meji Alabi. This London-born Nigerian filmmaker, director, photographer, and producer has worked alongside Beyonce, Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, Tiwa Savage, Popcan, Goldlink, and Nasty C. He directed Seyi Shay's Murder in 2014, a move that gave him the desired attention in Nigeria. Alabi also worked with Wizkid on his Made in Lagos album. He's a co-founder of JM Films with Jimmy Adesoya.
And I tell you my God, you know my style, you know big chance, then it's all up eBay. If you say you get the man, then you wanna try, you could go die, baby. You've been a landslide for a long time, but then no one believe me. All up when I come back, you one try, but you do make it easy.
Number 4, Dami Twitch. His original name is Owolabi Oluwadamilola. Twitch started with photography in 2013 before going to full music production in 2017. That was the year he shot his first music video for Burna Boy and Yonda. He has gone on to shoot visuals for Fowls, Burna Boy, Olamide, Lil Kesh, Victor A.D., Simi, Peruzzi, Mayokun, Leah, and Davido. Number 5, HG2 Filmworks. Olaolu Olabode Folarin, also known as HG2 Filmworks, is a Nigerian-American music video director, graphic designer, entrepreneur, and cinematographer. Olabode began his production journey as a graphic designer and later went into full-time music video production in 2010. He has directed music videos for big-name artists like D'banj, Kiss Daniel, Dami Crane, Reminisce, Nice, and Scales. You will agree with me that these directors bend over backwards to churn out massive videos for our entertainment. And such, they deserve more than enough accolades for their contributions. So whenever you watch your favorite artist videos, always remember the men behind the scene.
Hello and welcome to Plus Events, your #1 diary show that brings the best and biggest events to your screen. I am Antonia Oshili, and on today's show, we have 3 interesting events that you would absolutely enjoy. First is Mr. and Mrs. Ladainde's children dedication, which took place at the Citadel Global Community Church. Plus TV Africa was there to cover the joyous event.
The Ladainde family dedicated the triplets at the Citadel Global Community Church with singing and dancing. The triplets, Ilerioluwa, Erioluwa, and Irioluwa, are the first set of children of Temidola and Kayode Ladainde after 12 years of marriage.
I want to thank God for everybody. I mean, the church in the house. 12 years.
The officiating pastor prayed for the family as the church rejoiced with them.
This is a testimony from the Lord, and it is just the tip of the iceberg. The testimonies have become an encouragement for so many people, trusting God for the fruit of the womb and every other thing. God who did it for you, will do it for them in Jesus' most precious name. Amen.
The church dedication was followed by a reception where the family continued celebration with friends and family. Couple share their 12-year journey of waiting to have their children.
Many people are counting 12 years, but for us, it is actually 12 times 12. Because for every month, we were aiming to be pregnant. Do you know what that means? So on our cost, we were flying from Port Harcourt to Lagos. This woman was flying from Port Harcourt to Lagos just to achieve pregnancy. So you know what 12 times 12, 144 months of saying, let it happen, let it happen, let it happen, and finally it happened. One unique thing about how it happened, because everything I'm telling you, there are enough proofs. If you get to our bedroom, you will see 3 teddy bears. Those teddy bears were bought almost 7 years ago. 7 years ago. 3 lovely teddy bears. So every day we know that this day is going to come to pass. The rooms were built for 2 boys, 1 girl.
Yes, we held on to the word of God several times, but it was not easy. You know, someone said it another time, that they waited for 3 years. And every month, when Yoruba said it is Ibanuje Oshoshi, as in, it's a monthly sorrow. It is. Young ladies that are indulging in and enjoying sexual relationship. I mean, you're happy when your period comes, as in, this month, okay, as in, the pill worked or whatever it worked. And it didn't, you know. But when you get married, that's when you know the value of menstrual period. So many suggestions. Someone even said to me if I sleep with you, you will get pregnant. So many. The first time that somebody mentioned to me that what if God gives you triplets, it was in the office. Then I was working with MTN. And I told him, no, 2 is just okay.
Pastor Itua Igodalo shared his own story as he prayed for the triplets.
I understand what it means to be begging God for a child. My late wife and I, we begged God for over 11 years for a physical child of our own, and the children didn't come. The children didn't come because God had a plan, and God knew what he was doing. I want to tell somebody here, number one, that God has a plan for your life, and it is a good plan. I don't know somebody here today, your own may not be physical, your own might be financial or even mental, but I want to tell you that God has a plan for your life.
What I need to tell the people, anyone trusting God for the fruit of the womb, is this is a sign that God is alive and that he is willing. He's a good father. Whatever anyone wants, he's willing to make it happen even for them. The scripture tells us that it said there is hope for a tree that is cut down. At the scent of water, say it will begin to bud again. Don't lose hope. Don't give up. Once there is life, there is hope. Look at their own story. For every 4 years that they lived, they waited for. God gave them one. God is very humorous. And when he will come, look at the way he did it. Boy, girl, boy. There is hope. Look at their own story. For every 4 years that they lived, they waited for. God gave them one. God is very humorous.
The next event is on Walk for Mental Health, which was themed Inner Peace is Priority in commemoration of Mental Health Awareness Month. This walk event was organized by Gordon Barrett to create awareness about mental health.
People are taking advantage, public bodies are taking advantage of what's available within the mental health improvement state. Like we always say, every day should be a mental health day, and I'm happy to see this happening. But you can see from all indications, a very good demographic was represented. We had the younger ones, we have the older ones coming together. It means people are beginning to understand that mental health affects us all, irrespective of our age and gender. But one thing we've learned here today is that mental health is not discriminatory. Mental health has is not respect of anyone. Anybody can have it any time in his or her lifetime. But this has been a very good program, and it's one that I'm very impressed.
Actually, the walk is very supportive for the mental health, because people that ignore mental health, it's very important in each house. You can see your partner, your wife, your kids, maybe they need help, but they will not show it to you. You have to ask them always, are you okay? Do you need any help? So mental health, it's really important for each one of us.
And finally, on this episode of Plus Events is the double celebration of life of Pa and Ma Davies, who died weeks apart. They passed away at the age of 93 and 84, respectively.
About my mother and my father, if I start now, I probably will not end till 2 days, but I will make it very, very short. My mother
She is a great woman. I have been on earth for over 60 years myself, and I've never seen a mother like her. When I was growing, my mother suffered a lot for me and my siblings. When she looks, if she doesn't eat, she will make sure that we eat. My mother surprises me so much that when I grew up, I said I was going to do whatever I can for her. My mother cannot be replaced. There is no way anything can replace my mother. There is no way.
My dad is he's into real estate, and I learned real estate from him. And every time we visited a place where he's got a brick making factory, and we go there and I help out in making bricks and stuff. So that actually set me up for my career in real estate and in engineering. And for my mom, she's a God-fearing woman, and because of her, I learned how to read in Yoruba and to pray in Yoruba. So I thank God for both of them and for what they've contributed to my life.
For me, I think I would say one of my fondest memories is when we were actually in England, and I had a T-shirt. It was a Simmons, the Simpsons or the Simmons, I can't even remember the band. And my dad left England to come back to Nigeria, and we were supposed to follow on. Unknown to my dad, he had packed that T-shirt in his luggage. And my mom was like, she had no rest because I raised hell. She had to wake up very early the following morning to go to the store to get me another T-shirt, because otherwise I wasn't willing to go to school. I wasn't willing to do anything, or I was just bawling my eyes out.
I want to say that the couple has been very, very kind to me when I was young. I remember when I was in secondary school and I had difficulty about schooling, about financing and all that. I always run to this family, especially during holidays, for help. And indeed, they helped me at critical times.
I'll miss them so much, the way my grandmom jokes about some certain things and the way she talks to me. I'll really miss her so much. And my granddad, getting to know him at his old age was good, because he's a man of discipline. I learned a lot of things from him, learning to respect the elders. I learned that from him.
I know them quite well because when my friend got married to Ola, we used to visit them before they traveled abroad. I still visited Mama last year, and we had a time together. She was a very pleasant, very amiable person. We sat down together and sang songs. You know, Papa was also somebody who was very strong. The Lord gave him very good health. Up until when he died, you know, he was very active. He used to take long walks, you know, around the Keja axis where he lived. We thank God for their lives. Sang songs. You know, Papa was also somebody who was very strong. Gave him very good health. You know, he was very active. He used to take long walks, you know, around the Keja axis where he lived. We thank God for their lives. Sang songs. You know, Papa was also...
scripture reading from 1 Thessalonians 4:13-18. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words.
church torí pé church náà ti pàdé ẹ bá mi fún wọn ní. màmá ti náwó ẹ lọ bí ara bá dìde pé ẹ má má dá ilé lóhùn ẹ bá mi ṣí.
ìbọn tolúkọ wọn bó ṣe ti wọn
ẹ má bínú mọ́ mi.
Well, that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed the events on the show today. Remember, if you want to showcase your events to the world, Plus Events is the place for you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I am Antonia Oshili. Remain blessed and stay safe.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi. Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thought and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Alex, can we record?
Kenyan music producer Presta George imagined how difficult it must be for village artists to get their songs on the radio, let alone become famous. And that's where George found his calling.
I thought it wise to bring these studios to the local people so that at least they can compete or they can sell their products.
George takes everything he needs to record complete albums on location in remote areas in just a few days. From soloists to church choirs, this traveling producer's goal is to find music that otherwise wouldn't get distributed.
This opportunity where we can get a studio where we are, it will make us to air out the good talents that we have, which could not be heard at all.
Making his clan's dream a reality can come at a cost for George, as many village artists cannot afford to pay for production. But George says it is worth the risk to discover up-and-coming talent that would otherwise get missed by Nairobi's big production houses.
If you want to be successful in the music business, you have to move to Nairobi, unfortunately. So the idea of moving studio, that's a very brilliant idea. You take the studio to the people so that they can get that quality. We should do more of that so that we can empower the local artists so that they can get access to the quality audios.
Kenya's music industry insiders say success comes down to technology and the popularity of artists. George says he is confident his traveling studio can get ahead of competition. Juma Majanga for VOA News, Awendo, Kenya.
In fact, you have now prolonged properly. Thank you very much. You can go and sit.
Hello, this is the Greater Lagos Vision, and I'm your host, Love Ikuku Oyedokun. Since assumption of office in May 2019, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has maintained his commitment to ensuring safe mobility of residents and ease of doing business in the state. This was demonstrated through the official launch of a security-fitted apparatus, safe, comfortable and modernized taxi scheme, codenamed LagRide, with a rollout of the first batch of 1,000 brand new GSC automobiles at the State House in Alausa, Ikeja. The ride-hailing taxi initiative, which has been operated on a lease-to-own basis, is a component of the state government's multimodal transportation blueprint being executed under the traffic management and transportation pillar of the themes agenda of the Sanwo-Olu administration. This is the Greater Lagos Vision. Welcome once again. I'm Love Ikuku Oyedokun. This episode features infrastructure, Sanwo-Olu State's commitment to ensuring seamless mobility to deploy technology for enhanced movements. Transportation, Lagos State set to host Maiden National Transport Technology Conference. Lagos Blue Line Rail, Sanwo-Olu says project will be electrified once vendors to stay away. Any city without a fully functional infrastructural system will suffer a setback. As such, engineers must be well trained in order to bring to bear their professional attributes to the growth of the nation. From an infrastructural perspective, the Managing Director of Lagos Metropolitan Transport Authority, LAMATA, Engineer Abimbola Akinaju, stated this during her presentation at the 2022 Alumni Luncheon of the University of Lagos Faculty of Engineering Alumni Association in Lagos. It was a reunion, a veritable networking opportunity for the alumni of the Faculty of Engineering, University of Lagos. It was also an avenue to give back to their alma mater through the launching of a 500 million naira fundraising project for the faculty. Away from that, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his team cashed in on the opportunity provided by the reunion to tell the impact of the alumni on the state's infrastructural development in less than 3 years.
And so the Blue Line, you can see, is a massive feat of engineering. And I'm sure all of you need to be proud of it. From 4 lanes, we changed the design to 10 lanes. So we took a massive right of way to do 10 lanes, and we were very smart to keep a rail corridor in the middle of it. So the alignment actually is about 16 lanes, because when you've done 10 lanes and you still have enough alignment to keep a rail, corridor, was the main feat. And that's why we're able to, preserve, and which was the most difficult option to take. But because we were committed at that time to say, you know what, let's have the audacity to want to do it, and that's why, we started it.
The 4 stations, Mile 2, Alaba, Igomo, and National Theatre, they're completed. You will notice that Mile 2 and Alaba, they have 2 concourses. Obviously, that's based on studies that had been done to determine sort of ridership that we would get, and we realized that, and I mean, it's obvious. Mile 2 is a market area, so there's a lot of people there. So that's why we have 2 concourses that allows us to take on more passengers. It's the same thing in Igomo. Same thing in Alaba. Igomo and National Theatre are also completed. We have pedestrian bridges at each of those stations that allows us to bring passengers from one side of the expressway.
The Managing Director of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, spoke with journalists on the sideline of the event.
Infrastructure is owned by all. So it means that
as an individual, you have a responsibility. Something has been built, not to destroy it, not to vandalize it. And so therefore, people also need to be aware and also take ownership. And that's what I always say. If something belongs to you, you are not likely to go and destroy it.
She also told the forum that over 5,000 people affected by the construction of the rail have been compensated by the Lagos State government. The Lagos Blue Line Rail on completion will be running on electric tracks with electric motor vehicle EMV, and as such, citizens have been warned to keep off the train lines. Handing down this warning shortly after inspecting the Blue Line Rail, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu assured Lagosians that the completion date of the two rail projects remains. The train took off from the National Theatre Igomu to Orile, through Alaba, Mile 2, and back to the Marina axis of the state, having Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, some members of his cabinet, officials of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, and contractors handling the project on board. The governor inspected the ongoing works on the Blue Line Rail project and stations, and a new 4-coach train, which according to him is a typical train that will be used on the Blue Line. He expressed satisfaction at the pace of work, maintaining that the project will be delivered on schedule. Sanwo-Olu was unhappy at the level of vandalism along the rail corridors and warned perpetrators to desist from such acts.
There are electric trucks. They are going to be running on electricity, and you will know that citizens or passengers or anybody whatsoever cannot walk on those things. Right, so gentlemen of the press, you have that responsibility. From now, we'll begin to mention that. For the next 6 months, 8 months, we begin to mention that this track is not like the red line. The red line is DMU, but the blue line is EMU. So these are some of the communications that we need to begin to pass out, and they are electric train lines.
The governor also assured that adequate security would be put in place at every station and platform with the use of CCTV. He disclosed that the state was set to bring in from China additional 2 sets of 4 train coaches by September and October.
The additional trains that were procured for the Blue Line, we're going to be going to China when they open up, maybe in May or June, when it's completely completed, just to have a look and send it on shipment to probably get to the country before September, October. So based on the promises we gave you at the beginning of the year, we are still on track at both the red line and the blue line.
Recently, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu unveiled the first batch of 1,000 brand new GSE branded vehicles, otherwise known as Lag Ride. This for sure is another step forward in the state government's drive to develop an efficient transportation model in tune with modernity and comfort. According to Sanwo-Olu, there's no plan to run existing hailing ride operators out of business, but to offer safer alternatives and clear the roads of rickety cars used for taxi business. Joining me in this episode is the National President, E-Hailing Drivers and Private Owners Association of Nigeria, Comrade Idris Shonuga, for more insight into this scheme. Thank you so much, Comrade Idris Shonuga, for joining us today on the Greater Lagos Vision.
Thank you.
Right, you are the president of the National President, Professional E-Hailing Drivers and Private Owners Association of Nigeria. Tell us, in Lagos State, the Lagos State government just introduced recently the Lagos Ride. Tell us exactly, how has it been? How have your members been faring since the introduction?
Thank you. Our members are very happy. They are very happy in the sense that the business of Lagos Ride is going to add value to their collective existence, in the sense that they are going to be using the brand new vehicles to run their transport service on that Lagos Ride. Unlike before, that they use old vehicles, popularly known Tokunbo, even Nigerian old used car, to run taxi business, which in different cases develop faults at the middle of roads. It's almost impossible to maintain those vehicles, you know. But the added advantage with Lagos Ride introduction is maintaining of those vehicles for the drivers who are beneficiaries. You see, running a transport business has been very difficult in terms of maintenance of the vehicles, because you are always on the road on a daily basis. And we don't have a good mechanic system in Nigeria. So majority of drivers patronized the road mechanics, dealing with all manners of spare part dealers, getting wrong spare parts to fix their car. At times, they spend double amount to repair the cars, and it's eating hard on them. But with the introduction of Lagos Ride, that comes with mechanical insurance, where the vehicle will be maintained for them for the period of 4 years, where the contract is between them and the Ibile Holdings, who is going to manage the operation of that business. It's a welcome development. So when we heard about this scheme that is being launched, and it concerns our industry, because the vehicle will be operated with algorithm, is online approach, unlike conventional way of transportation before, where you have to flag down. This is online, and we are e-hailers. So we approach the Ministry of Transportation that the Lagos State government cannot launch such a laudable scheme without giving the practitioner the sense of belonging, because we are e-hailers. We have thousands of trip history on Uber and Bolt, and we are professionals, so we need to get involved. So we apply, and the ministry directs us to the appropriate body that is going to pilot the Lagos Ride, which is the Ibile Holdings. So we met the MD, and we had to ask to write a proposal. We did not lobby. First of all, as a body, they deal with body, they deal with individuals. From the conversation, we approach them as a body. Then I think when I met the MD of Ibile Holdings, he made us to understand that the associations, the individuals, Lagosians who are interested in the scheme can apply. We apply as an association. You understand? Then the procedure is like every other person. The requirement to be a beneficiary of Lag Ride is uniform. 20% equity contribution of the asset of 7.5 million. The interest of 10% for the period of 4 years. You have the equity, you have the down payment of 1.8 million, which we see it will be very impossible for our member, ordinary e-hailing drivers, to benefit from this scheme with such amount, because it's so huge for e-hailing drivers to sum up 1.8 million as a deposit. It means the ordinary person cannot be partaker of this scheme. So we appeal that is there any other way? And they gave us two banks, FCMB and Polaris Bank, precisely to give us loan, and they came up with corporate guarantee on behalf of the association for our member to be a beneficiary. The Polaris Bank, we borrow our members. They said 1.8 million. You understand? Why are we standing for them? You understand? So, and our member has been applying. But besides, we, the individual members, also need to have some certain contribution from that 1.8 million, 20% equity contribution of 1.8 million, which is around 300,000. And we have employed our drivers, advised them to key into this because it's going to make life better for them. Then the most interesting part of it that make us to subscribe to Lagos Ride is that what the union stand for is workers' right, the workers' welfare. Because we notice that the government has been less concerned on the informal sector, because our interest is in the informal sector. The e-hailing drivers fall in informal sectors, and informal sector has been neglected for a long time. Some certain benefit workers' right has been denied, such as HMO, pension scheme plan, opportunity to have cooperatives, then perhaps mortgage plan. These are set of workers that solve problem of transportation in the state, moving passenger from one point to another point with expected professional service. They need to be taken care of. But to my dismay, all these things has been embedded in Lagos Ride business scheme, because our own concerns is that what are the provisions for the drivers that are going to drive this business? And we're made to understand that 1.5% commission has been set aside for the driver and their family of 4, which is what we HMO, health management scheme, under the plan. You see, when they charge 25% commission of each transaction consummated under the platform, 4% out of it goes into comprehensive insurance and mechanic insurance to maintain that vehicles, which I see as a welcome development. It wasn't anywhere included in their current module of operandi with other hub companies. And if Lagos State government put this in their business plan, I think, they are coupling international standard practice, which is why we are very happy with Lagos State government, particularly Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for making sure that all these things are embedded in Lagos Ride. With the notion of Lagos Ride, when we had meeting with them, if they follow all the process to the letter, I think it will reduce traffic congestion in Lagos State, because they are the first app companies that will introduce what we call carpooling. Carpooling means classification of rider, where 2, 3, 4 different customers can join one vehicle going towards the same destination. And with the introduction of brand new comfortable vehicles, I think a lot of Lagosians will keep their vehicle at home. What prompted a lot of Lagosians to make use of their vehicle are because we don't have a good, safe transport system. That is why everybody wants to have their vehicle on the road. And judging from the fact that we have less road and we have many people in the city, we are moving at the same time. But if we have a safe system, safe transport system, comfortable safe transport system, a lot of people will keep their vehicle at home and make use of Lagos Ride. What am I saying? With the introduction of this classification of rider, they will even pay less. They will pay less than the conventional taxi, where you used to pay 2,000 naira, you can pay less than 1,500, even 1,000, because you are sharing your ride with other customers, other users, meaning that the driver will end up earning more. You know, in the sense that the driver is supposed to have earned 2,005, when he collects 1,300 or 1,200 into 4 places, is getting 5,000 instead of 2,500. And the same distance cover when you pick only one person. You know, that will reduce a lot of traffic congestion if we can actually accept this concept introduced by Lagos Ride. You know, the traffic will be entirely reduced. But if Lagos Ride deploy enough vehicle, the 1,000 vehicle is not enough. I must be sincere with you. If we have more than this vehicle, handing over to those who needed job opportunity to pilot it, a lot of Lagosians will keep their vehicle at home and will make use of Lagos Ride. Lagos Ride can enter anywhere in the street of Lagos State, because the majority of this vehicle are SUV. They can enter some bad area, and we have sampled it. You understand? It's not low vehicle, it's high on the ground. It can maneuver some bad spot. I see it as a solution if it's being piloted appropriately. Online transport system is already a smart system way of transportation, coupled with a lot of mechanism being embedded in it to make transportation easy, using a stone to kill 2 to 3 birds. Number one, the lag ride is not going to be conventional taxi. You take request, the driver take request randomly, you know, and it solved the problem of moving within the city. 2-3 people can enjoy a ride. And this ride we are talking about is a global standard. Even a lot of people since the launch of this vehicle have been getting a lot of reports from our members that they are asking them, is it real? You know, because this is the first time we are seeing that government make promise and they are fulfilling it. I thought when me saw it, I thought I'm dreaming, but today is reality. You see, if it's being piloted properly, it will fit in what we call Smart City Lagos, because that is no different from what is being practiced in Dubai and what is being practiced in Lagos. The e-lane service in Lagos State is already a smart way of transportation. Unlike those who promise us smart transport system, and we are still seeing car of 15, 17, 18 years, 20 years running a taxi. But we are talking about a recent car, 2-year-old car, to run a taxi business with a fast-shifted system and with a lot of security gadgets, you know, to contain any security threat, and making the movement in the city of Lagos very easy with the introduction of several mechanisms that will make life easy for Lagosian, for them to imbibe with this scheme. I think, I don't know how they came about this, but I expect more of these things to come in later future. I want to really appreciate the office of Governor Sanwo-Olu for this laudable project. Is indeed a welcome development. And we, at Professional E-Hailing Drivers and Private Owners Association, are solidly behind him. We trust him again, and he's a man of his words. I was with him in 2020 when he said he's going to introduce a safe transport system, I didn't believe it will come to reality, but I'm seeing it in reality. May God bless him. Second time we are with you fully, in spirit, in physical.
That's all we have in this episode of the Greater Lagos Vision on Plus TV Africa. I'm Lovey Kuku Oyedoku. Bye for now.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
One woman tried to abolish this practice in Zimbabwe. It's widely practiced in Kenya. It can't be refunded in Uganda, but a modest amount of money and a kola nut is acceptable in Senegal. We're talking about the customary practice of the dowry and bride price, both highly regarded in many cultures across the continent, but also seen as vessels that reinforce negative stereotypes. So which one is it? Well, that's the topic of this episode, and we're glad you can join us. I'm Ayan Bior, along with my colleagues Ariane Itangi-Shaka and Haiti Adams Fitzpatrick. And we're joined by Aisha Mwazu from the Hausa Service and Marvelous Nyahuye from the Zimbabwe Service. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome to the show.
So, ladies, first things first, there's a lot of confusion between the terms, the dowry and the bride price. So, by definition, the dowry is a transfer from the bride's family to the groom's family. And the bride price is the opposite. It's a transfer from the groom's family to the bride's family. Now, obviously, this varies from country to country. In South Sudan, for example, we call it the dowry when the groom gives to the bride's family. But of course, in Nigeria, for example, there's a lot of differences.
To me, the bride price is a token, that highlights the degree of commitment by the man to the woman. And in Nigeria, it differs. It cuts across the religious and cultural,
barriers.
Barriers. In the upper north, we have both Christians and Muslims, but the Muslim north practice dowry, which is guided by Islamic injunctions, and it should be nothing less than a quarter of a dinar. While the Christian north practice something similar to what they practice down south and the east and the west. There you have the traditional marriages. The woman is sorted for by the groom-to-be. His family, presents some gifts that cuts across all cultures. Now, they have kola nuts, they have yams, symbolic items that represent their token, asking for the girl in marriage. I think, basically that tradition is a wonderful tradition, but because of the way we do, people practice it these days, it brings about other issues, challenging issues up north. We have issues of modernization, where you have, you have 7 days, going from one kind of ceremony to the other, and this, weighs a lot of burden on the groom.
I see.
And then it brings about issues of men not getting married. You have ladies.
And we're absolutely going to get to all of those issues. But Marvelous, I want to hear from you. You're from Zimbabwe,
Yes,
and I know
I
it's
am.
multifaceted there too.
In Zimbabwe, I think we also have similar traditions to what is actually practiced in Nigeria. But in our customary marriage, it's called Rora in Shona, which is one of the tribes there. And in Ndebele, it's called Lobola. And I think it's the same in South Africa. But basically, it's the coming together of two families. It's a symbol of the love between the groom and the bride. So what happens is when the man decides that he wants to marry, he finds a negotiator called Munyai. And that negotiator will literally negotiate on his behalf on how much monetary compensation he's going to pay to the family, because he's given a list where he has to buy groceries that are eaten at the event and also some clothes and some cows. But really, it's just a symbol of the love and unity between the two families.
Absolutely. Well, this is a multi-layered conversation, and we want to hear from you at home. What does this practice look like in your country and your culture? Let us know on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our handle is @VOA Our Voices, or send us a message on WhatsApp. That number is on your screen. And Ariane, I want to bring you into this conversation because these are practices that you hold very near and dear to your heart.
That's right, Ayan. I grew up here in the U.S. I've been here for 20 years. But about 8 years ago, I went back to Burundi to get married in a 5-step ceremony that took several days.
5 steps?
5-step ceremony. But, in those ceremonies, one of them is called Gukwa, where they give Inhuano. That's the dowry. And I would actually trade my white wedding for that dowry ceremony, simply because of the meaning of it. The meaning of it is two families coming together, not two people, two families coming together to make a covenant, to help these two people who are in love to stay together and to be nurtured in so many different ways. And so when that celebration happened, I really, really was so proud of the culture, the Burundian culture, and that's why I really admire the fact that there is such custom. And I think that the covenant comes with gifting, and I appreciated the fact that there was gifting. Like in this picture, you will see my husband giving my mother a gift, and in this other picture, you will see myself giving my mother-in-law a gift. So we are exchanging gifts, we are showing humility, we are showing respect, we are showing love, and so that custom is very important.
The foundations of a healthy marriage.
Exactly.
Well, you know, what's so interesting, of course, this isn't something that is part of my culture, but of course, living and being in South Africa and being South African, I'm very aware of, as Marvelous said earlier, of Lobola culture. And that to me is somewhat still controversial amongst people. But as an outsider on this, what I love about Lobola, the idea that, you know, it's a show of gratitude to the bride's family for raising an upstanding woman, for the investment that they have put. I think no matter what culture you're from, and we all are from some tribe or other.
It's interesting how similar they are.
Right, and that, you know, that you talked earlier, Aisha, about symbolism. And I think we can take many things away from this, but the symbolism, I think, is what it was intended to be. You know, there's an interesting debate going on around the dowry, where the woman is the person who pays the husband's family a dowry. In India, in Indian culture, there's an interesting debate going on about what the dowry was meant to be and what it has become. The dowry was actually, when I was looking at this, it actually seemed to me, I'd like to think of myself as very progressive and very liberal in my thinking. And I could see that, you know, it started out as actually something that had very progressive intentions, that it was meant for the woman to enter into a marriage with financial security and financial resources, you know, in case of an emergency, so that she's set up, you know.
But it's interesting because in India, it's the women who control the dowry.
That is how it used to be. There is a professor of history at Baruch College in New York. Her name is Veena Talwar Oldenburg, and she has written a book called Dowry Murder, The Imperial Origins of a Cultural Crime. What's so fascinating about this is she talks about dowry crime these days, where women are now victims of domestic violence because of a dowry dispute. You know, and what's so interesting about this, she says that the dowry was, like you mentioned, something that was managed by women for women, but that with British colonial rule, that really, the social and the economic upheaval that came with that, women were stripped of their economic resources, women were stripped of their rights to inherit, and that is where this now became this issue where greed today has seeped into the culture. Families are demanding more and more of the bride, and if the woman's dowry doesn't live up to the man's family's demands, they can keep making demands on her, and that makes women vulnerable. They become they can become vulnerable to domestic violence.
Yes, and that is just one example of the evolution of the dowry and the bride price, and we're going to have a lot more on this conversation coming up, but we do have to take a short break. We have a lot more coming up, including the devastating details of a bride price story that took a life-ending turn for one young woman. But first, we asked our Africa Division colleagues how these practices vary in their countries, and it turns out each culture has its own spin. Take a look.
I'm from Ethiopia. The dowry process is Delosh, and it's usually given by the groom for the bride. The groom will send his friends, the neighbors, and some elderly people along with a luggage full of gifts. Back in the days, or in rural cities, they send the cattle, sheep, or goats, a certain number of cattle. But in the city, they send like luggage, and then they'll show off saying that we